The Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein has heard arguments by Afriforum in an attempt to legalise the display of the 1928 apartheid flag. Afriforum is appealing against the Equality Court order that ruled that gratuitous display of the old national flag constitutes hate speech, unfair discrimination and harassment. The order favoured the application by the Nelson Mandela Foundation that the display of the flag constitutes, among others, hate speech under the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act. The Nelson Mandela Foundation is arguing that the flag is an unambiguous symbol of white supremacy. Afriforum today argued that the Equality Court's order on the displaying of the old flag set off a series of unintended consequences for the future. It has told the court that the order was made without meeting the required threshold to declare the act as hate speech. Now, it contends that there should be facts about the act before determining whether something amounts to hate speech. All right, now for more on this, we now cross to our reporter Makgala Masiteng, who's been covering the story for us. A very good afternoon to you, Makgala. Give us a breakdown of this particular case and how it got to the Supreme Court.
Good afternoon, Unati and the viewers at home. Yes, as you have highlighted, actually this matter began in 2017, or rather emanates from 2017, when there were a series of protests in 2017. It was protest against the farm killings across South Africa, and at some point in some of those protests, there were some protesters who were displaying the old flag. This is where this matter emanates from. That is when the Nelson Mandela Foundation brought up this matter, saying that it is not okay that that flag was displayed like that, obviously seeking the order that would say that the gratuitous displaying of that flag constitute hate speech and harassment, especially to the black majority, as it represents, or rather it takes people back to the suffering of the past. And they actually won that case at the Equality Court. And then the Afriforum is the one that took this matter here at the Supreme Court of Appeal, saying that the Equality Court did not have that power to even grant that order for the Nelson Mandela Foundation. They were actually saying, as you have highlighted briefly in your introduction, that they did not have that power, and saying that because they did not follow the proper procedure, saying that giving that order, they would have had to follow certain processes, meaning they will have to include even those particular people that said that they were showing that flag during that time. But they're saying that in this matter, it was not the case because they were not even involved on the matter, and they are saying that it is not even known what was the meaning behind the showing or the displaying of that flag at the time. Afriforum maintaining that they are not necessarily saying that they are supporting the showing of or the displaying of that flag, but what they are saying is that they don't want it to be a ban, and they don't want it to be based on some what happened or what it is thought was the intention behind the displaying of that flag. But the Nelson Mandela Foundation came also telling the Supreme Court of Appeal that it is actually not true. Advocate Thembeka Nqonga-Itobi, who represented the Nelson Mandela Foundation, saying the meaning behind the flag cannot be misunderstood. There's no controversial meaning behind that, saying that it is clear what that flag means, and taking the court back to when this flag was actually introduced, quoting even what was said then, that this is not just a cloth, it actually represents something for the nation. And then we were just speaking to the Nelson, the Ndade Silohatang from the Nelson Mandela Foundation about what this actually means and what they want the court to say, or the message to be sent out, saying that this flag should be understood just the way it is. There should not be confusion, because they're saying this has a very hurtful meaning, especially for the black majority, and that Afriforum should not mislead even the people on this matter, because what they were saying is that they are against the displaying of this flag. It had nothing to do initially with whether the proper procedures were followed, as they were mentioning that the Equality Court cannot make that declaratory order. But Advocate Thembeka Ngcokaitobi really took the court back to where this flag is coming from, and also saying that it still represents what it meant even then. When it comes to the public display, even the private display of this flag, that it still constitute hate speech. But also the Nelson Mandela Foundation was also supported by the Human Rights Commission on this matter, and also the Minister of Justice, where they were reiterating that there is no way that there will be any different meaning when it comes to the displaying of the flag, because the Afriforum had argued that it cannot be taken as if everybody who will be displaying the flag is actually in support of racism, or actually want to represent what was happening during the apartheid regime. But what the respondents on this case are saying is that the meaning is clear, and it cannot be disputed on this matter. And actually, Advocate Ngcokaitobi even taken the court back and arguing that the display of this flag actually represents the yearning of the return of the apartheid. That this, when people are displaying that flag, what it shows, especially for the majority in South Africa, it means that people are yearning for the return of the apartheid, or they actually say that this was good, this was okay, the oppression of the black people then was okay. This is just in summary of what has been happening at the Supreme Court of Appeal, and the judgment has obviously been reserved on this matter.
A very comprehensive summary. Thank you so much, Makgala, for what transpired inside and outside court there. Very comprehensive. Of course, it's a very symbolic case, and we will be watching it very closely.